Julius Caesar, Act 4, Scene 1, Question 1. Who are the members of the Second Triumvirate? The Second Triumvirate consists of Mark Antony, Octavius Caesar, and Lepidus. After Julius Caesar's assassination, these three men form a political alliance to take control of Rome and eliminate their enemies, particularly the conspirators who killed Caesar. However, the alliance is unstable due to internal power struggles, especially between Antony and Octavius, too. What kind of list are the three making at the beginning of the scene? At the start of the scene, the three leaders are making a prescription list, which is a list of people they intend to execute. This is a brutal tactic used to eliminate opposition and consolidate power. They agree to sacrifice even their own relatives if necessary. For instance, Lepidus consents to the death of his brother, and Antony suggests that his own nephew be killed. This shows their ruthlessness and how power has corrupted them. 3. What does Antony say they will do to Caesar's will? Antony says they should change Caesar's will to reduce the money and benefits promised to the Roman citizens. Initially, Antony had used Caesar's will to gain public support against the conspirators, but now that he is in power, he no longer wants to distribute the promised wealth. This reveals his manipulative nature and his willingness to betray the very people he once claimed to support. 4. What is Antony's opinion of Lepidus? Antony has a low opinion of Lepidus and sees him as weak and unworthy of leadership. He compares him to a horse that needs to be trained and controlled, implying that Lepidus lacks independent thought and is merely useful as a temporary ally. Antony even suggests that once they have secured power, Lepidus should be removed. This conversation foreshadows future conflicts within the triumvirate. Scene 2, Question 5. Why does Brutus suggest that he and Cassius talk inside the tent? Brutus suggests that they should go inside the tent because he does not want their army to see them arguing. As leaders, they must maintain a strong and united front. If the soldiers witness their conflict, it could damage morale and weaken their position against Antony and Octavius. This decision reflects Brutus's sense of honor and his awareness of how perception can impact leadership. Scene 3, Question 6. Why is Cassius mad at Brutus? Cassius is angry at Brutus because Brutus has publicly condemned a soldier named Lucius Peller for taking bribes, despite Cassius requesting leniency. Cassius believes Brutus is being too harsh and inflexible. Cassius himself has accepted bribes to fund their army, so he feels personally attacked by Brutus's strict moral stance. This conflict highlights their contrasting personalities. Brutus is idealistic and values honor above all, while Cassius is more pragmatic and willing to bend the rules for survival. 7. What does Brutus accuse Cassius of? Brutus accuses Cassius of corruption and greed, particularly of accepting bribes. He believes that their fight against Caesar's tyranny should be based on justice and honor, not on personal gain. Brutus is deeply disappointed that their noble cause is being tainted by unethical behavior. This moment shows Brutus's rigid sense of morality, which often puts him at odds with more politically savvy characters like Cassius. 8. For what has Brutus asked Cassius that he did not receive? Brutus asked Cassius for money to pay his soldiers, but Cassius refused or was unable to provide it. This fuels Brutus's frustration because he sees Cassius engaging in corruption yet unwilling to share the wealth for the greater good. The argument escalates into an emotional confrontation where Brutus expresses his disappointment and anger. 9. What has been misconstrued? Cassius claims that Brutus misunderstood the situation. He insists that he never denied Brutus money and blames the issue on a mistake made by his messenger. Cassius feels deeply hurt that Brutus would doubt his loyalty. leading to a dramatic moment where he offers Brutus his dagger, saying that if Brutus no longer trusts him, he might as well kill him. This emotional outburst helps them reconcile. 10. How does Portia die? Portia, Brutus's wife, dies by swallowing hot coals, burning embers. She takes her own life because she is distressed over Brutus's absence and fears for his fate. Additionally, the rise of Antony and Octavius makes her believe that Brutus will not succeed. Her suicide reflects the deep emotional turmoil caused by the political chaos in Rome. Brutus initially tries to suppress his grief, but it is clear that her death deeply affects him. 11. Explain the disagreement that Brutus and Cassius have about the battle strategy. Brutus and Cassius disagree on whether to march to Philippi to confront Antony and Octavius or to wait for the enemy to come to them. Cassius argues that they should stay where they are and let the enemy come to them, forcing Antony and Octavius's army to exhaust their supplies. Brutus, on the other hand, believes that they should advance to Philippi immediately to gather fresh recruits and maintain momentum. He fears that if they wait, their allies might turn against them or lose motivation. 12. Who wins the argument? Brutus wins the argument, and they decide to march to Philippi. Cassius reluctantly agrees, even though he believes it is a mistake. This decision ultimately proves disastrous, as it forces them into a battle they are not fully prepared for. Brutus's insistence on following his moral and strategic instincts rather than Cassius's experience contributes to their downfall. 13. What unexpected visitor does Brutus see when everyone else is asleep? Brutus sees the ghost of Julius Caesar in his tent. The ghost tells him, "Thou shalt see me at Philippi," foreshadowing Brutus's eventual defeat and death. This supernatural encounter shakes Brutus but also reinforces his sense of fate. The ghost's appearance symbolizes Brutus's guilt over Caesar's murder and serves as an omen that his time is running out.